Well, hello everyone and welcome. Jet Girl Stephanie here, also known as Stephanie Getz. Welcome to my channel. I am so thrilled that you are here. Well, I have a special surprise for you. My man, Endre Thor Holland. He taught me basically everything I know about jets and flying aircraft well. But today we're flying from Las Vegas to Aspen. I have a speaking event there for the Aspen Flight Academy, this incredible organization that gives scholarships to flight students. It's really a phenomenal organization and I have the privilege of speaking there. We're going to be there and we're going to show you in this video how to do crew operations, aren't we?
Yes, and I'm very excited to be flying with a professional pilot educated by NetJets and many other organizations. Also, we get to do the RNAV approach into Aspen,
yes,
which is 6.5 degree glide slope,
yes,
which requires careful energy management and stabilized approach. So that'll be fun. That'll be my first time. Steph has been in there several times and she will teach me how to do it. And it'll be a great experience.
It's going to be really fun. Yeah, Aspen is one of those very, very challenging approaches in because it is such a steep approach in. And also all around it is mountains everywhere. When you go mist, it's roughly up to 14 or 15,000 feet that you have to climb just to get out of that bowl. We'll definitely be briefing the approach very well. All right, so we are taking not the L39, but the Citation V. So this is a Citation 560. What this is a single pilot operated, if you'd like, business jet, but we are going to fly it crew operation, 2 pilots doing CRM, crew resource management, that you'll be able to see how that works. But this is a great jet. It can go up to 1,900 nautical miles on 1 tank of gas.
All right.
All right.
So we've got the Northtown 5. Let's take a look at that.
Northtown 5.
Citation 555 Echo Hotel. Looking for our clearance to Aspen.
Citation 555 Echo Hotel, Northwest eastbound, roger. Clear to Aspen Airport via the Northtown 5 departure, Las Vegas BOR, and final climb via the SID. Expect flight level 410. 3 minutes after departure, Las Vegas departure frequency 133.95. Squawk 1377.
Citation 5 Echo Hotel, clear to Aspen via the Northtown 5 Las Vegas VOR. Then as filed, climb via the SID. Expect 410, 3 minutes after departure, 133.95 on departure, and 1377, 1377 on the squawk. Citation 5 Echo Hotel.
Citation 5 Echo Hotel, reback correct, 5 ready to go with data, expect runway 12 right.
Roger that, Citation 5 Echo Hotel. All right, so avionics are set, volts and amps.
Check.
Inverters.
Check.
All right. Pressurization.
Set that to 43. Check.
Trims.
1, 2, 3 neutral.
All right, controls.
3 incorrect.
All right, transponder.
Set 1377.
All right, autopilot transfer. Yep.
That is on my side.
DG.
Both aligning.
Altimeter.
Set 2983.
And we have avionics and flight plan and FMS.
Loaded.
All right.
FMS, go around.
Yep.
Go around.
Exactly.
And altitude select.
Altitude select is selected. All right. Okay, we'll start taxiing out.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
We'll take the checklist.
All right. Yeah, I will. I'll do that once we're out here a little bit further.
Vegas ground,
Wait,
5165 Juliet
a
with
little tight
Papa
here in
North
the
Las Vegas FPO ready
hangars.
for taxi.
All right, so break.
Juliet, roger, taxi
Buster.
runway 12 right via Golf, hold short, runway 7.
Need brakes.
Good,
Stowed.
Juliet, 12 right via Golf, hold short, runway 7.
And
Stowed.
retracted. Okay, clear right.
Check.
Bye. Ground, Citation 555 Echo Hotel. Taxiing out from the Outback with information. Papa.
Citation 555 Echo Hotel. Roger, taxi runway 12 right via Kilo, Bravo, Alpha, Golf. Hold short, runway 7.
12 right, Kilo Bravo Alpha Golf. Hold short, runway 7, Citation 5 Echo Hotel. Clear right.
Clear left.
Well, it is a gusty day. We have winds mostly down the runway, which is good. But on takeoff, that'll just be nice because we'll lift off a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Maybe a little right crosswind, so we'll be ready for running into the wind.
Absolutely. So for our operations here versus when I'm flying single pilot, every operator does a little bit differently. But typically how we do it is that autopilot on versus autopilot off, different things are happening and different crew responsibilities. So in general, if you're a pilot flying, which he is, and I'm pilot monitoring, he will be flying the aircraft the whole time. And then I will be doing mostly radios, other navigation and stuff like that. But when autopilot is not engaged, typically I, as a pilot monitoring, am trying to take the workload off him, so I will do mostly heading changes, or if we have to select heading or select nav to go into lateral navigation via GPS, altitude selection and increasing or decreasing that, I'm going to be doing that as well. And then once autopilot is on, he controls all of mode changes and flying the aircraft from there. And then I'm mostly radios, navigation, and then also getting the weather and all that kind of stuff. So it certainly takes the workload off the other individual, and makes it a good work environment where we work together.
Yeah, well, it's fun.
I know. It is.
You get to see two professionals do their craft, admire each other's skills.
Oh, totally. It's really fun. It's nice to be able to have a helping hand in the cockpit. It's just a high workload otherwise.
Also, if there was an award for best radio voice in the universe,
Ooh.
I think you'd be a candidate. Just
Well,
clear,
thank you.
concise, strong.
Thank you. Well, it's all those years as a broadcaster, I think that
so.
has helped. But yes, when I speak on the radio, I always want to go, how would I want to hear that?
Yeah.
I'd want it to be clear. I'd want it to be concise.
I never assume that people will stop, even if.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll.
So someone was just coming off of the runway, and typically you want to give them the right of way because they're taxiing off. So we did, but you never know, if they're going to stop or not. So they gave us the right of way, so we kept taxiing. And
All right, so note on 5 is basically a runway heading and then 250 to intercept the outbound course.
So they got your release already. No delay to the runway and contact tower. Have a good one.
that sounds great. No delay to the runway, and we'll contact tower. Good day.
Awesome.
5 Hotel. That's really
So
nice.
250 and then outbound to 5,000 is our first altitude. You will set the heading once we lift off, and for 250 it's a heavy workload.
Yep. Tower, Citation 5 Echo Hotel, holding short of runway 7 at Gulf.
Citation 55 Echo Hotel, North Las Vegas South, cross runway 7 at Gulf.
Cross runway 7 at Gulf. Citation 5 Echo Hotel. Clear right. And we're cleared to cross.
Citation 5 Echo Hotel, runway 12 right, full length, quick takeoff.
12 right, full length, clear for takeoff.
Takeoff checklist, please.
All right, landing lights, ignitions, pitot heat, parking brake,
In.
and anti-ice not needed. Engine instruments clear. Clear right.
Elbows pull up and you
Clear
set
right.
95.6 on
Sounds
the
good.
hour.
Sounds good. Runway 12 right confirmed.
And just moving up.
Power set. Airspeed alive.
And I'd like to double check acceleration there by 70 before the 1,000-foot marker, which we
Good,
have.
good. 80. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
You're up.
FRA.
Flaps up.
Citation 5 Echo Hotel, contact Las Vegas departure 133.905.
Go to departure. Good day. Citation 5 Echo Hotel. Departure. Citation 555 Echo Hotel. 3000 climbing via just off Northtown.
Number 555 Echo Hotel, Las Vegas departure. Got the ident. Radar contact a mile south of North Las Vegas Airport. Las Vegas altimeter is 29990.
900. Citation 5 Echo Hotel. All right. 90 is at 3 times.
Anticipating the 5,000-foot level off.
Yep. All right, after takeoff checklist, gear is up, flaps are up, landing lights off, and ignitions are off.
And here's the nav segment.
Oh, perfect.
And there comes 5,000.
Number 5 Echo Hotel, climb maintain 7,000.
7,000, Citation 5 Echo Hotel. 7,000 set.
See?
Number 5 Echo Hotel, traffic 12 o'clock, 3 miles northwestbound, 4,500 indicate.
Looking for traffic, 5 Echo Hotel. Not in sight. All right, autopilot's on.
Piles on. Now we're on the outbound leg, and then we'll be ready for 180-degree turn here.
Yes, exactly. It's
Number 5 Echo Hotel, climb maintain 9,000.
9,000, 555 Echo Hotel.
A little bumpy today.
I know, 9,000 set.
Seen?
Yeah, climbing out of this valley is it's a very interesting departure. It's basically like a spin.
Air 5 Echo Hotel, traffic no factor.
All right, roger that. 5 Echo Hotel.
Yeah, I'd like to, on this turn, I like to keep it kind of right around 200 to keep the radius
Yeah, true, exactly.
a little smaller.
Yep.
Because you always end up overshooting that turn
Yeah,
if you're too fast.
exactly.
And you want to stay in the valley.
Yeah, of course, because the mountains are out there.
And here's the turn.
Heading mode.
As you can see, we're flying at somewhat reduced power here, 90%, and below 600 ITT.
Yes, especially so, like you said, the turning radius. So we're not just going too far out.
And look at that, we're keeping ourselves on the magenta turn.
Yeah,
Air
exactly.
5 Echo Hotel, turn right heading 130, vectors for J9, climb maintain 13,000.
130 for J9 and 13,000, 555 Echo Hotel. All right, 130 and then 13,000, 13 and 13. The interesting thing is it's always sunny above the clouds.
Air 5 Echo Hotel, turn left direct to Nora.
Left direct turn, Nora, 555 Echo Hotel. All right, we'll get you a direct to Nora. It confirmed.
Yep.
Air 5 Echo Hotel, contact Nellis approach on 124.905. Good day.
2495, good day, 555 Echo Hotel.
Nav one
All right.
selected.
All right, perfect. Nav mode and it's LNAV in the scoreboard. Right, on our way, climbing at 13. Nellis, good morning, 555 Echo Hotel. 10,600, climbing 1 to 3,000, direct Nora.
November 555 Echo Hotel, Nelson approach, roger.
Air conditioning is working overtime.
It sure is.
October
5 Echo Hotel, climb and maintain flight level 190.
190, 555 Echo Hotel. 19 set.
And we'll take the cruise checklist.
All right. Or the climb checklist.
Oh, sorry, climb checklist, yes.
Yep. We're not cruising just yet. I mean, we are cruising, but all right, climb power.
Set 600 ITT.
All right, perfect. And pressurization.
Pressurization is coming up nicely.
Okay. So in this airplane, we don't have what's called a FADEC, which controls the throttle, or controls at least the fuel flow and,
Yes.
and all of that. And so we have to do that on our own, the good old pilot stuff.
We are FedEx.
We are FADEC. So if we don't manage where the power is
Good morning, Big Sharp 1.
in the throttles on the way up on the climb or down, it can get really too hot.
Correct.
The engines. And so typically on the Citation 560, it's about 600 or less.
Yeah, that's from experience. If you look over here, we have these
Yeah,
two charts.
we do have
And they are
tables.
combinations of temperature and altitude and DIs on, DIs off.
Yeah.
And it gives you the N1 setting. But what you realize flying for a number of years in a Type 60 is that what that chart does, it just keeps the engine right at 600 ITT.
Yeah.
So now we do the
One on the ground.
quick version, which is we just always set it to about 600 ITT
Exactly.
in the climb.
Yeah.
And then in cruise, it climbs up a little bit to 620, 640 usually.
Yep. Exactly. And that's for those not knowing what that is, it's the temperature of the engine because you don't want it to get too hot, could then destroy the engine eventually.
November 5 Echo Hotel, contact Los Angeles Center 124.2, good day.
24-2, see ya. 5 Echo Hotel.
Yeah.
555 Echo Hotel, checking in. 727, climbing 190.
November 555 Echo Hotel, LA Center, climb maintain flight level 230.
230, 555 Echo Hotel. All right, we'll do the 180 checklist. Altimeters.
The area.
2992.
Set 3 times. Air conditioning is off.
Unverified.
Pressurization.
Check on my side.
Temp control.
November 5 Echo Hotel, for hire, contact LA Center 135.25. Good day.
3525. Good day, 5 Echo Hotel. Center 555 Echo Hotel, 191, climbing 230.
November 555 Echo Hotel, LA Center, good morning, stand by for hire.
All right, so the 180 checklist again. Altimeters are set. Air conditioning off. And but the fan is still on. Pressurization is pressurizing. Temp control is auto. Anti-ice is not required. And O2.
I checked my side already.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, it's a good. Sometimes you get interrupted in the checklist in the middle.
Yes, yeah,
And
a lot of times.
5 Echo Hotel, climb maintain flight level 330.
330, 555 Echo Hotel. Speaking of, you get interrupted all the time in here. 330 sets.
Seen? Yeah, so it's important to go back, and then most people want to start over again because you really don't remember where you were and what you've done.
Yeah.
So that's a good practice, and I'm glad we did that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to do that because it takes 10 seconds to look it over again. And it could save you something that's really important on there.
I really like this Garmin setup in this airplane. It just makes flying so much.
Agreed. Tell us
safe.
about the Garmin setup that we have in here.
Yeah, so we're sort of in between here, and the reason for that is when we started this airplane, we had the original avionics, which was universal FMS and very rudimentary monochrome map, and not very user-friendly and intuitive. It worked great, but you had to know what you're doing. The ultimate here is to get a full glass panel, which Garmin is working on an STC for.
Yeah, which is great.
It was just really awesome. They're doing such a nice job improving these old airplanes and making them a priority, which extends the aircraft's life. And they're great airframes and great engines, so once you get avionics and interior set, and a paint job, which we did, it's just a new airplane. But for now, so that's going to come with a full digital autopilot, glass panels on both sides, DNAV capability, basically what you get in the production Citation 3 Plus or something like that. For now, what we did was we put in a 750-650 combination. Interface it to the autopilot, which is the old Sperry 500 autopilot, and it just gives you a whole new situational awareness.
Yes, definitely.
Compared to what you had before. But we're eagerly waiting for the next.
I know. We're so excited. We're like, we are ready to get this in here and just get it installed. It does work though. I mean, especially a lot of people ask questions about like, you have all this technology, but why do you have a flight pad? Well, one of the reasons why you have a flight pad is that's where your charts are, your instrument plates, to make sure you know the arrivals, the departures, and also the airport environment. And it also adds that layer of, in case this would go out, you would have that in an emergency. But a lot more of the advanced aircraft, like Globals, Gulfstreams, and that they have charts in the actual avionics in the aircraft, but they still keep these flight pads just in case, because it's sometimes easier to look at the instrument procedure plates there. I think overall, I do love our setup right now. I think it works great. And I kind of like having the OG steam gauges. There's a lot of people that look at them and they go, oh, we actually like that you have those. And I do too. So I don't mind this.
When you grow up on that, it's pretty intuitive.
Exactly.
It doesn't bother me at all. But it'd be nice to have a glass panel. I mean, the iPad, particularly with Preflight and a Garmin GDL 52 or something similar, particularly for single-engine prop planes where you might actually get electrical failure or might get a vacuum pump failure. One of the little-known things is that you have a full standby AI here.
Yeah, exactly.
Synthetic vision. So in a pinch, if everything else goes out, you can actually get through the clouds with your Preflight synthetic vision, and assuming you have a GDL 52 or something capable of delivering that.
So you'd be able to have your attitude indicator, which would show you your pitch and other information. Ideally, obviously, that's not the ideal, but I mean, if it's worst case scenario, you're using whatever you can. So yeah, there's a lot more advanced options than there were many years ago. When I first learned, it was just on VORs. I didn't even have
my first trip to Oshkosh in a Cessna 340. We brought a big paper box of charts.
135.55, have a good flight.
3555, good day, 5 Echo Hotel. Citation 5 Echo Hotel, check-in in, flight level 303, climbing 330.
For 5 Echo Hotel, climbing pinfall 410.
410, 5 Echo Hotel.
Yeah, so we had a big box. It was Derek Pleasant and I, who's now the president of AOPA. We took the 340 out there, and we literally had a paper box this big of all the binders of the state charts. I think we had like 8 or 9 or 10 states.
Goodness.
Probably 6 or 7 of the en route charts. And we were navigating VORs and map out, all that kind of stuff. No GPS, nothing. That's how I learned to fly.
It's like Dead Reckoning, almost.
Almost. Yep.
That's amazing.
Those were the...
it's
so you're there
amazing.
flying, and this had autopilot, but I remember doing my instrument check right and stuff, and you're flying in the muck with a paper chart, trying to figure out where you are, setting the VORs, and trying to keep the airplane right side up.
I bet there are some people out there watching that definitely feel your pain because they experience that same thing. And to see where we've come now is just incredible.
No, it's incredible.
It's really incredible.
It's incredible.
Well, we're going to keep flying here, get up into cruise, relax, watch everything going on, and it's about another hour or so. We will catch you on the descent down to show you the arrival and the amazing approach into Aspen. So we'll see you in a little bit.
All right, see you. Yeah, so Stephanie, since we're going into Aspen, it's my first time. And you've been in there a bunch of times with NetJets. I would really appreciate it if you could just brief the approach and then tell me how you would fly it in terms of configuration and speed management.
Absolutely. Now, we did talk about this a little bit earlier, so he has already certainly briefed and looked over it. But here's how I would look at it. We're doing the RNAV GPS F into Aspen. So this is going to have us landing on runway 15.
46 feet out.
Into Aspen, it's like one way in, one way out. You land on the runway, and then if you're taking off, you're departing that opposite direction, that same direction out. This is an RNAV. Final approach course is 166. So that is going to be offset from the runway, which is 151. So you have to be ready for that, knowing that as you're coming in, you're going to be offset just a little bit. And so knowing that visually it's going to look different. Our final approach fix of Alex is 12,200. That is very high. Now the MDA here for us, for category, today we'd be
Category C.
category C, yep, is going to be 10,960. So that MDA, minimum descent altitude, if we were in IMC or the clouds, is 3,122 feet. Just to give you an idea, typically they are 200-foot minimums, like go all the way down to 200 feet above ground, and then, and if you don't see the runway from there, you go around, but it gives you a lot of margin to come down. This, it doesn't at all. So you have to have basically 3,000 feet vertically to be able to see the runway. Otherwise, you have to go around. Now, it's a clear day down there, so this is a visual backed up by the RNAV, and we always do that, especially going into Aspen.
Denver 5 Echo Hotel, contact Denver Center 127.1.
27-1, Citation 5 Echo Hotel, good day. Denver, Citation 5 Echo Hotel, flight level 297, descending 270.
555 Echo Hotel, Denver, descend via the Lloyd 1 arrival.
Descend via Lloyd 1 arrival, Citation 5 Echo Hotel. Continuing on this, the MSA there, the minimum safe altitude is 15,700, so we have to make sure if we want to stay above anything, above any terrain, it's going to be that high. If we had to go missed, we would descend down, not see the runway, climbing right turn to 14,000 feet direct LINS, and on track 247 to Gleno and hold. So for us, we will already be in RNAV GPS mode, and so we will just be able to stay in that. We don't just switch modes in our airplane, which is great.
I'm seeing 2,000, sorry, flight level 200 at Lloyd. Do you agree with that?
I see 200 at Lloyd. Here we go.
Well, let's keep going down, and then we'll continue the briefing.
Perfect.
So 1,600 foot per minute descent, roughly. Okay, we're good. We're set.
Okay, set, perfect, and at 250. So being on speed is really important coming into Aspen because you're having like double the angle of descent coming in. Instead of a 3-degree glide slope, and most pilots are used to that visually seeing what that would look like, the visual is going to be much different for us. And it's going to be strange because it's going to be much steeper, and we're going to probably want to convert, or we're going to want to revert back to the 3-degree, and it's like, no, keep it at 6%. That's normal. That's what it's supposed to be like. So that's the challenge here. You're used to seeing thousands of hours worth of 3-degree, and it's 6 degrees. So it's just going to be that steeper descent, which is going to be just something to know. That's kind of a threat that kind of can pop up. Another one is just being on speed. So I would suggest is out at red table to be fully configured. So we have full flaps and gear down, and we're a little above speed. We could be like 140, 150 coming in, and then we'll get down to speed soon after that to be about our 120 on approach speed. Because it's going to be slick. It's going to be hard to keep it, and we might have to use speed brakes, and that's totally fine here and there, but ideally we will have, you always do a good job at slowing down nicely. So.
Well, as you know, I fly the way I drive.
He drives like a grandmother. It's adorable. So I'm like a race car driver out there. I'm like every
So I don't think speed will be an issue, at least in the beginning. We'll see once we start down the flight.
That's actually adorable. It is. I'm usually forcing him to push it.
This is an approach made for me.
Yes, it is. It totally is.
I have no questions. Good brief.
All right. We are on the Lloyd 1 arrival. So the waypoint after the next Lloyd is at 200, so flight level 200, 20,000 feet at 250 knots. And then we'll go down to Snowmass above 17,000 at 230. Big Lip is 15,000 feet at 220 knots. And Rudy is 210 at 14,000. So it's a little different in this airplane. We don't have press a button and it just...
I know.
ENAV, you have to actually...
You are FADEC and VNAV.
Yes.
Both of us.
So basically that means we have to control the power to make sure that it doesn't over temp the engine. But more so, we have to manually calculate what descent rate do we need to get down to, let's say, Lloyd by flight level 200. We're 2,000 feet away.
Echo Hotel, contact Aspen approach 123.8.
2385 Echo Hotel.
I'm just working down to 250 for the speed restriction at Lloyd.
Available
That's good.
service.
Approach Citation 5 Echo Hotel. We have information X-ray at Aspen, and we are leveling at 200.
Number 555 Echo Hotel, Aspen approach, fly present heading, reduce speed to 190.
Present heading, and we'll reduce to 190, 555 Echo Hotel.
Alright, 5 Echo Hotel, reaching 190 knots, descend and maintain 16,000.
Reaching 190, we will descend down to 16,000, 555 Echo Hotel. We are in altitude capture, so 16 sets. Very high pressure down there today. I'm just confirming that once we hit 190 on the speed, we'll descend down to 16,000, 5 Echo Hotel.
Number 5 Echo Hotel, affirmative, altimeter 3031.
Roger that, 3031, 5 Echo
And there's
Hotel.
190.
Okay, so we're descending down. Altitude select. This is what happens so often. You prepare for the arrival or whatever, and then they just give you vectors, which is totally fine too. So you have to prepare for the most in-depth, and then know that sometimes
Range 936, reduce speed to 190, then to number 5 Echo Hotel, turn left heading 010.
left 010, 555 Echo Hotel. All right, transition altitude. Our altimeter is 3032 at the field. Wow, that is very high.
Yep, set.
All right. Altimeter is set. All right. Approach.
Yeah, we briefed the approach as the RNAV Foxtrot in.
All right. Nav source.
We're in FMS1, which is what we should be on.
Altimeters.
Set 3032.
Set
Range
time.
936,
And the radar
9
altimeter.
o'clock,
radius.
12 miles.
Okay. Approach. Checklist complete.
Oh, we're going to get 0.001 IMC today.
Our information X-ray 16532. Number 5 Echo Hotel, 170 is right, descend and maintain 14,000.
Can you say that again for 5 Echo Hotel?
Number 5 Echo Hotel, turn 20 degrees right, descend and maintain 14,000.
20 degrees right and 14,000, 555 Echo Hotel. All right, 14 set, altitude select, descending down, and I see that we're 20 degrees right.
Number 5 Echo Hotel, descend and maintain 13,000, fly heading 080.
13,000 and 080, 5 Echo Hotel. 13 set, 080 on the...
A lot of vectors inside them, looks like.
Yeah, it does. So that might be slow enough on the speed for configuration and all that.
I will take approach flaps.
Okay, coming in.
Number 5 Echo Hotel, Aspen Airport, 2 to 3 o'clock, 12 miles.
All right, airfield insight, 555 Echo Hotel.
Number 5 Echo Hotel, clear visual approach runway 15, on or to the west of final is approved.
All right, clear visual approach out to the west. The arrival for 15 is approved, 5 Echo Hotel.
Number 5 Echo Hotel, contact tower, have a good day.
Going to tower, 5 Echo Hotel, good day.
Full flaps.
Flaps, full speed checks, perfect.
And what are we supposed to be at here, Bip?
All right, hip is 12.9.
12.9. Okay, so we're plenty good here.
Plenty good, and Alex is 12.2. Maybe that.
So we can stop it.
Oh, maybe a little bit outside Alex would be perfect. Yep. So you can see it just off R2 at 2 o'clock. Just keep going. And
Speed is good here.
I'd still go outside Alex a little bit just to...
Alex is 12.2 and then 6.3 in from there.
Exactly. And tower, 555 Echo Hotel, descending about on the visual 15.
Tower 555 Echo Hotel, Aspen Tower, wind 1508, gusts 16, expect light turbulence during descent, runway 15, clear to land.
15, clear to land, 555 Echo Hotel. All right, clear to land. All right.
The speed is about 120, so that's
Yeah,
good.
perfect.
We can set 10.9 on the...
Okay, sounds good.
Actually, 11.
11?
So
There we go.
Steep.
Yep. But that's what it's supposed to look like.
light job. All right, 120 stabilized before landing checklist.
Yes, our landing lights,
All right, well,
ignition,
going off before,
pressurization,
ground, yeah, like 9:30.
zero diff, gear, slurry green, anti-skid is on.
Tower 5 Echo Hotel, and just light chop now, reported by a previous arrival citation.
Roger, thanks, 5 Echo Hotel. Flaps, landing, autopilot, and yaw damper to go.
Like our configuration here.
Yeah, it's very good.
Little speed break in a second, but we'll see.
I think you're going to be good right now.
I got good for now.
Yep.
But it's important to get all that drag out, otherwise you'll
Absolutely.
be behind the whole way down here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is looking good.
Looking very good.
I'm glad I had a experienced professional pilot with me. It's always good to do that the first time around in
Oh, yeah.
a place like this. We can take a little speed break here.
One
Sounds
lane
good.
traffic, 4 mile final.
Because it's starting to creep up in the windshield a little bit. And I am at idle. There we go. Now I'm
Very
starting
nice,
to get that. Yeah. Get there we go. Speed breaks
Perfect.
up.
Right on the VASI 2 red, 2 white.
This is good. I'm going to pull up a little so that I'm going
Yep,
autopilot.
All right.
Now we should start getting our speed under control here.
Yep.
Which is good.
And you'll see this is a little low because you're supposed to be steeper.
Be about plus 10 right now.
We're about 5, you're good.
Up 5. Looking good. Thrust versus
Speed brakes extended.
Speed brakes.
Yep, speed brakes deployed. 60.
Keep the buckets out.
November 5 Echo Hotel, left turn at Alpha, let's do Alpha 3, entering non-movement or parking your discretion. You can, I see you going past Alpha 3. Left turn Alpha 4, join Alpha, contact ground, plane 9er, good day.
All right, Alpha 4, Alpha, we'll contact ground on point 9er. Good day, thanks. Have a good day.
Left turn at Bravo 8,
That's tough for those taking off. It's doing their tailwind, unfortunately.
All right, after landing checklist.
It's after landing checklist. Thrust reversers, flaps,
approach,
speed brakes,
Go to the 51, the wind is, ship is
yes, off.
windshield de-ice valves, valve, and then the valves closed as well.
Closed.
All right.
Left or right here?
All right, so ground citation 5 Echo Hotel, just off on Alpha 4, going to Atlantic.
November 5 Echo Hotel, some ground taxi to Park the Alpha.
Alpha 5 Echo Hotel. Alpha?
Well, this is a bunch of
Yeah, exactly. Straight into the ramp, perfect. There we go. Our guy is right straight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
ERJ,
Well, that was fun.
behind the ERJ.
That was a great experience.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aspen is
Oh, you gotta be on your
favorite.
game here. You know, you gotta be well prepared and
You do.
figured early.
That's what you do.
Atlanta, we have
And the beautiful fall colors, it's so stunning. You're clear, right?
227 Mike Fox, that's my ground.
Bye.
A lot of jets here. We gotta
A
make sure that
lot
we
of jets.
navigate this
Yeah, and
obstacle
yes,
course.
and power carts and everything. So we'll be right.
Oh, look at that
between-
328 QS.
Yeah, right behind that jet's airplane.
Yes.
There's several on the ramp. The Latitude is what I used to fly, so that's really fun to see that over there. I probably flew that airplane. All right, you're clear, right?
November 7 Mike Fox,
And then there's a Global, too. I actually flew that one.
129.
Flew both of those aircraft. We are here 5 minutes before our scheduled arrival time. Nicely done.
Oh, thank you.
Nicely done. Not only on time, but early.
And shutdown checklist.
All right, AC defog fan is coming off. Exterior lights. Standby gyro. Caged and off. Avionics. Off.
Here we are in Aspen. That was a really fun flight in. It was really fun to see my husband do very, very well. And his first time landing in Aspen, especially the super happy wide slope, the different side picture. Winds were pretty gusty, but they were on the south, so that was great. It was a nice headwind. Now, we are closing up. And I am so excited to share with you tonight a very exciting event that I have planned. And I get to show you a little bit about what I'm doing here in Aspen to support the Aspen Flight Academy. It's pretty incredible. So, gorgeous place, gorgeous, beautiful fall colors, and lots of jets on the ramp as there always is here in Aspen. So it's going to be a fun night. Just keep watching. And also make sure that throughout all of this, like and subscribe.
Where has this been all of my life? This is absolutely incredible, the feeling of weightlessness and freedom. And who has been hiding aviation from me? Now, interestingly, it was around me. I just never counted myself in. I got to cover the Blue Angels. I got to fly in a Black Hawk helicopter. It was one of my very first stories. I flew in World War II bombers. And it was around me, but I never counted myself into that space. And I realized that tomorrow might not be here, so I'm gonna seize every single thing today. And so I went full speed ahead. Remember, we can't let grass grow under our feet. We might not be here tomorrow. There was jet fuel in my veins. I didn't get my pilot's license until I was 34 years old. And I was like, dang it, I really wish I would have learned about this earlier because I would have gone the path down the military, not even a question. The transformative nature of aviation is that, for me, one of the biggest things I learned is that I am capable of literally anything. And aviation taught me that. I got a call out of nowhere from a former F-16 fighter pilot, and she said, you need to get in touch with this really great nonprofit called the Pink Jet. The jet is not pink yet, it's blue and white, but it wants to be pink. And we want to make this to be able to fly at air shows, inspire young girls, and support breast cancer awareness and research. But it also inspires young girls to get into aviation. And we also need more ethnicities, we need everything more in there, because diversity of perspective creates a safer cockpit. I hope that you can be that person that gives the gift of flight to someone, that gives the gift of a new life to someone, whether it's in business or the arts, or opens that door for someone to say, hey, you should come and do a story on aviation, because you never know just how high they will soar.